All right, everybody, let's join us. Brianna?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just what have the training's been and the focus been this last week, knowing you guys lost at Boa League? What's just been the focus specifically when it comes to offense and attacking?
We had a game 2 days ago, so we tried to find a balance there to focus on that game and then and help the players that played in that to perform at the best. And then we trained a little bit short yesterday, and today we're gonna also, of course, train. But it's just yesterday and today we have to if we want to change something or add something. But the good part is that we have actually been able to do some things before with the team. This is what I've talked about, to be flexible, to not just have one way of playing. Still, we have a couple of steps to take to be more functional, more flexible, but it's more in theory than on the pitch. We have been able to go through things because when you don't have Wes, you need to. It's not that we. How do I put it? Like, we don't need to change everything, but of course you need to find other ways to get more out of more plays.
I know you spoke about specifically which players and everything about attacking with who's going to need to step up without West, but how much are you going to be asking of the midfield and the back line now, not having him? Is there anything more they're going to be doing offensively compared to when he's on the field?
I think that it's also important to not start to do crazy things because nevertheless I think that the last two games, even if the start against Orlando was really soft and the first 15 minutes was like not at all like how we want to behave, but overall we have had two games where this boring thing we do when we look at how many times do we arrive in the opponent's penalty box, how do we our numbers. Now I think it's very fun, but I know that people maybe that just want to see the goals thinks that it's boring with the stats, but we have seen that we have become better and better and have better numbers, and we need to keep on working on that. But of course, if we don't have a player with that quality, we will maybe need even bigger volume of runs into the box, times when we arrive into the box, and compensate West's skills with maybe one more player in the box. And that is something we look at and try to create a formation so we can do that.
You spoke about Mo and his progress starting training with the team again. Is there still no timeline for when he will come back, or are you still just letting him play out?
Yeah, it's basically, if we talk with the performance department, the medical department, they of course have a rough plan, but for us it's more to see, okay, how he reacts on every session. And this week we have put him in more game situations, and today he's going to be part of that also, and so far so good. He has reacted really well, and so that's more how you look at it. And then if he reacts in a not good way, we take 1-2 steps back, but now we have been able to keep on taking the right steps.
He's a player you haven't had available since you've gotten here, but you've spoken about him like you see him fitting into your plan. So can you just elaborate where you see him fitting in on this team and when he's available going in the rotation?
Yeah, I think his dynamic attacking game is something every coach would like to have. And the way I have played with my teams before, where we are kind of fluid, where if it's a wing back or a full back can come inside. Now we have seen that with both Malte and Steven. I think both are very. Herrera is maybe more channel player that is very good in running in behind. Mo is probably a little bit in between. He's a little bit Steven, a little bit Herrera, if I'm gonna look at it that way. So he will bring one more dimension into our game.
I know there was sort of a funk about the first few games of the season, but when I look at the last 3 results, 2 wins and a draw, and 7 goals scored, and the way those goals came, the variety, it's almost like you can stop talking about just entries into the box. Look at the different ways you scored over the last 3 games. Is there some confidence building among the guys who are a part of that attack for you?
Yeah, I think it's a good reflection. Then it reminds me also about this profession. Like no matter, I think we have a tendency to beat ourselves up all the time. Like it is not. We need more. You always need more. You like feed the beast when you start performing in the way you want, but don't maybe perform that for 90 minutes. Then you're not happy with anything. So, but I agree that I see, and I have said it also. I see in training even more that we create in different ways. We score in different ways. We still want more, and we still think that we can do it even better. But I show the players that, because, like I also mentioned, last year there were a couple of tough months in the end, and human beings, so they also have a tendency to beat themselves up too much. So it's been good to see. Also, it's different players, and for me, I try to, and it's not me. I say me, but it's not me that invented the game. Of course, it's not me that helped them to become football players. But can I help them to see a little bit the same pattern when we attack the box? Then they can use their skills more and more.
Part of that is also identifying where the guys are most comfortable, and you can have them find success. Steven has endorsed playing a right back position. Just learned today that Hugo Picard actually played on the wing in France, and had been forced to play more central last year, which resulted in no numbers from him until we get to Wednesday night and he gets 2 goals. First time in 11 months he scored a professional goal. You've seen that coming though, haven't you?
We have talked about, it's also, if I go back to when I started to talk about with this and Mark Nichols about the job and the squad, and then one of the first talks we had was also about the formation. Formation is important, but it's to more put the players in positions they are comfortable in, and you mentioned Steven. Yeah, he's used to play right fullback. Malte is also actually quite used to play as a fullback, but he hasn't done it for a while. So those old behaviors you need to maybe in one way take away. But Hugo was one of those, that he is a winger. You could say Max also used to play as a winger, also to the right. When we got Nariman, he has also, I talked about steps. He has some steps to take, but I think like what he did in the second half, no matter level of the opponent, he started to behave in that way we want from a right winger. So then suddenly the formation is quite good and gives the players the possibility to express their qualities.
Is Nariman a little more inverted when he's on the right?
Yeah, he likes to, like many left-footed. I had a coach colleague in my old club when we had the youth players, and he couldn't understand why a winger should play with the wrong, like right winger should play with the left foot strongest.
Right.
Yeah, because he was going down the channel, cross the ball. That was the game he knew. So, but we like them to cut inside and shoot and. So yeah, but he likes to start wide and then coming inside. But that depends also who he's playing with. If it's Herrera that is a fullback, then he can be more inside. If it's Steven that likes to be inside, then he can be more outside. So that is also relationships we try to create.
New England this weekend, you're on another field that's got natural grass for the World Cup. It's outside though, it's uncovered, so a little more natural sunlight. What are you expecting from this squad? They also had an Open Cup game on Wednesday.
Yeah, and they won on penalties. I think it's a very interesting game. They are very fluid, very dynamic. If you look at how they attack, it's like they do everything. And as a coach, it can be challenges to play against that. As a spectator, you like to see that. It's a very dynamic team. They have Yusuf, they play him as a winger. I played against him not as a player but as a coach in Sweden. He played in Gothenburg. Then he was more a center midfielder, number 6, a very skillful player. It's a good team and they'll be good at home. So we need to defend well. But we are in that stage where we focus a lot on ourselves to keep on building what we feel we have started to do better and better. And with that said, I talked with the players now about the start of a Orlando game. It's not how you can start the game at home, but we know that now. So I should leave that also maybe, but it still haunts me. So. Yeah, it's some challenges in the game, but it's also very interesting to see how we can defend against their fluidity.
Yeah.
I have some words that is.
Oh, you do great with it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What did you learn in Richmond? Maybe about players, maybe about what you're trying to do, maybe about your depth.
The last part there was very nice to see, and again I know the level of the opponent was not the highest, but still you rather see your team behave good than bad, no matter level of the opponent. And also if we talk about the depth, I think we have seen in the 2 last games in MLS also that we have players that it's maybe sometimes they give us something. That's what I try to say, and it's been good because we have before we played Atlanta, I didn't do so many subs, and last year the club didn't do so many subs, and there are reasons for that, but Richmond game also showed that players are understanding what we want to do more and more. I think it's a good sign when the players that are coming in and don't play so much also play in the way we want to do. Especially, I think we did it after maybe 20 minutes in that game. First, it's always, no matter game, and against Richmond, there were a lot of players that haven't played together in that kind of game. So it took a while before we find the rhythm. But after that, it was good to see. And for me, it's a sign that they understand what we want to do more and more.
Was there when you got here, did you have any thought in your mind about where this team would be in 3.5 to 4 months? And if so, where are you in relation to what you were thinking in January? If
we talk about points, it's very much less than I thought about. Then I looked at, as I do, again, I really appreciate to sit and talk and explain how we think and how I feel, and as a coach, or you can sometimes there is always things to do, and to chase that rainbow can be frustrated. It can gives you feelings of frustrations sometimes, and then we try to use the numbers, the underlying numbers, just to connect a little bit the emotions. And if we look at, I looked at Y Scout and the expected points. Yeah, then it looked. Then it's like we should have 10 points. We don't have that, so we don't. It's like talk about fairy tales or something. But it gives you some kind of direction. Okay, the way we have played is not. Yeah, it should give us something if we keep on doing it. So that is. Some kind of relief. Football-wise, like where we are as a team, it was a good question because, of course, I have some thoughts and some problems that have appeared. I didn't expect. I mentioned it maybe 2 weeks ago that I thought that they were more comfortable with the attacking game. That I didn't. Okay, I leave that now. That surprised me. But then on the other hand, they are quick learners. So I'm quite happy where we are right now and how it starts to look. And it will be better and better. So yeah, overall, I really try to reflect over the question. More points for sure, but dynamic and how the group reacts on the things we coaches try to give them. That has been maybe over my expectations also, and I hope we see it even more in points soon.
Last one for me is you. And Isa, and it's part of the club's MO, I guess, that enjoyment is important to the operation. Enjoyment can be linked to points, but not necessarily. What's your enjoyment gauge telling you about your team and how far it's come? Where it has to go yet?
Yeah, exactly. I think you could. I remember there were a coach in Sweden to win. Fun is winning, and in one way it is, but in one way it's not everything. What I have felt that I maybe haven't succeeded fully is to unlock this stiffness, this fear that you sometimes have, but it sounds negative because. But this is part of the profession, and also on this level. I remember just I think it was before a game in Spain with two teams. I think it was United against Spanish team. Line up, and the camera goes like this in front of the players, and every place that they're doing and they pray, and they it looks like they're gonna go into their execution. And as a player, you sometimes feel that, and maybe as a coach also. But you understand me right here. You also like that feeling because it gives you a feeling that you are actually very alive. But it's also, of course, fear of letting people down, fear of losing, fear of getting criticism, all those kind of things that are quite natural. So that is something that I talk a lot with my players about. That's what your brain is telling you. You don't listen to that because your brain is not a truth caller. It's trying to predict things, and this is not a good environment. This is go away. You're tired. You don't want to do this.
Process.
Maybe it's just my brain that is like that. But so I haven't fully unlocked that, but I see it more and more again in training and in games and in Richmond game. In second half, they really enjoyed playing together. So we will get there, but I think we saw it in some parts against Atlanta, some parts against Orlando, but then you were so affected, me also, about the start of the game, so everything felt like shit. That's why I tried to disconnect myself from feelings during the game, to look at the iPad, to not get involved in all those thoughts the brain is telling you. Like I had my family on in the stands, and then you're like, oh, we are 1-0 down, and we are shit. My son will be, and then you have to leave that. I'm a Zen Buddhist now. I'm just thinking about the game and how we can help the players. But sorry, side.
That's all right.
Side.
I think what you're saying is the process is what you have to have a laser focus on.
Yeah, and it's always that. And again, maybe some things were a little bit more stuck in the player's mind than I thought about. But actually, the last, I would say, 3 weeks after Toronto, it's been really the way I want to work and the way I want to be. And the players, they see more me, the coach I want to be, but I also understand them more and more. So then you would love it to, like, everything it's like this, but I see the good signs.
Great, thanks everybody. We gotta get
Can I
Henrik
just
out to
have
training.
one more?
Take the last one.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just really quickly, I don't know if you follow the Blue Jackets, but their coach at the end of the season the other day went on a post-game tirade, and it was based on, he thought the culture was such that they don't hate losing enough, and that he was going to change that. That was what he's going to change. I don't know if you saw it or you're related to it, or what you'd say about it.
Yeah, I can relate to it. It's something I think, and it's a good question, and I don't want to. I would never put the blame on the players, but of course culture is an amazing thing and so important, and it's connected to the people you have, and we have so good circumstances here, but it's so easy as a player. I don't say it is really like that now, but it's easy to get stuck in a history. In our case, it's 23, maybe 24, like I've said, and then you think you want to win, but you don't necessarily do everything to win the game. And I've been a player, and sometimes I'm not been aware of it until after. So what I try here, I don't say I do exactly the same and think the same as Blue Jackets, but I mean, to compete in every training session, to actually dare to go for the throat, it demands a lot. It's easy sometimes and if I'm gonna go back to what I've seen here is we play nice, we want the joy, but then you hide behind that instead of, no, we actually also want to win, and we need to do what we need to do to win every day. And that's a culture thing, and we are taking steps there. This is my version of it. If you ask Wilfred and his team, they probably said, yeah, but we did also that. I see things from my perspective, and if I compare with Malmö, it was much more fights in trainings. It was much more, not passion, but we started games like kicking 2 opponents down and put the ball down to the corner, and here we want to have the ball and play nice. We will have the ball in Malmö also, but I see things from with those eyes, and then I need to find a way here, so it's our version of it. But yeah, we sometimes it's about actually just act like you want it even more.
All right, thank you.
A good
Thanks,
question.
everybody. Thanks,
Thanks,
Henrik.
Coach.